Why does this film just lose its goddamn mind about halfway through it? Definitely safe to say that I did not see the twist in this movie coming. So if you are new here, I like to look through movies that get less coverage or aren't really talked about and just try to find those hidden gems. So if you want to stick around, see what else I review coming up, or check back on the channel, please do subscribe. But anyway, on with the review. Malignant. So Malignant, we're following Madison through this. I will say the opening to this movie hits hard. It is a strong opening to this movie, but it does that thing where it sets up a theme, goes hard and heavy fast, but then as soon as those credits finish, it just moves into the main plot of the story. So you kind of forget about that opening until that twist later on in the movie. So Madison, in the opening of this, we learn just kind of your average character. Comes home from work, we learn very quickly she is pregnant. She has had a few miscarriages as well, so she's quite concerned, and her partner is the worst. Just the worst. They get into a bit of an altercation, which he really shows it in this scene. So after this altercation goes down, she wakes up and there's an intruder in the house, and this intruder kills her partner, and it's quite grotesque, I will say that. And the killer in this movie, Jesus fuck, why is it there's something so just creepy about a very natural thing just slightly changed? In this case, it's just somebody moving backwards, and that is all it takes to really just freak me out for like most of this movie. So now she starts having visions of people dying, of this intruder. It turns out all these people are connected to her past, because she doesn't remember anything before the age of 8, where she got adopted into a new family, and these people that were dying were kind of doctors and psychiatrists that looked after her and tried to support her. A few things that this movie does really well, and one of them was just great to see. Obviously any character that's having visions of somebody dying or the murder's taking place and turns out real, you know, they keep it to themselves and try and investigate it themselves. She just straight up admits it to her sister at this, almost immediately. It's great to see that, because I'll be honest, that's how I would react. I'd like to think that's how most people would react. If something's going on they have no explanation for, just talk to somebody about it. Some of the visuals in here as well are just fascinating to watch. Some of the kind of fight scenes, or death scenes more should I say, or just when it's one of her visions taking place. The choices they've made to illustrate this, so impressive. Like, I had a great time watching those take place. There is as well a lot of like non-jump scare moments. You know, when it's setting up what would be a black and white jump scare coming out at you, and it just doesn't. It just leaves that little bit of suspense. It just drags on that wee extra second and then just cuts away. I think they're far more effective than just a jump scare. There's a lot of them used in here. Not too many, but they're all used really well. Of course, she goes to the police with this now after talking to her sister. They kind of don't believe her, but obviously they need to keep her around because she's listing off locations and names of people that are just dying. It becomes this kind of police chase while she's looking into her past as well. She wants to learn what happened before the age of 8, what's her connection to this killer, and why is she getting visions of them. So far, the film has set up a lot of questions. Ones I don't want to answer right now because it will just spoil the movie. Like, completely spoil it if I just go into who's doing it and what the connection is. What I will say is though, it takes a massive leap to get from where you're at in the movie to that twist. It does bring it down a peg a little bit, I'll be honest. The thing is, her and her sister are really good as sisters. They're believable. The way they act, their chemistry with each other. So it's really compelling to watch them. You really like Madison. She's a very likeable main character, so you're with her this whole time, just trying to work out what's happened. She even goes back to her mum in the movie and just wants information of, you know, what did her mum know before she adopted her? And you want these answers. The movie just really doesn't give you them, and then it gives you all of them at once. Now with that twist, it does leave a lot in the air. So I'm going to lead into this. I have questions. Now if you are new, this is that part where I'm just going to list off a few of the questions that I feel weren't fully answered in the movie, or just things that didn't quite make sense, and I'm going to just go any range from kind of spoiling it to full spoilers. Now one of them, quite minorly, when the police are suspecting Madison of this, they're very lax with her. They don't detain her. They let her just go about her day. She just wants to go to the bathroom and goes unescorted as well. She's came to you with like 3 murders at this point. 100% keep an eye on this woman. You think she's done it? Fucking watch her. They just let her go about her day. So they find that her mum, her real mother, is actually in the attic or in the loft of the house. And the time that she chooses to escape obviously suits the movie because she falls through the roof at a peak moment. But why didn't she escape sooner? That's what I don't quite get. With the twist that, oh, the killer is Gabriel, who's actually in Madison's head because she had that thing where you kind of grow a tumour, but it also grows in teeth and bones, and it's kind of like a second second person, but with one brain. Gabriel's supernatural. I meant to say, he can like go through electronic devices and communicate that way, and he is like superhuman strength, and he can somehow do like ninjutsu and backflips and is amazing at martial arts, all whilst moving backwards. That's the twist. It's Madison all along, but it's her twin brother in her head. That head knock at the start of the movie kind of woke him up, and all those miscarriages were Gabriel taking power. Feasting. Weird, isn't it? So with that in mind, the mum's up there. The means to escape she has all along. She just chooses a peak moment. Like, I'd be out of there fucking immediately, because we've seen Madison going about her day a lot. Madison and Gabriel can't be in two places at once, although they're treated and talked about as two separate beings. They share one body. There's a lot of time to escape here. Also, this is more just general for all movies. So they go back to the, I could call it psychiatric ward. It's not a mental asylum, but it was kind of getting experimented on. There's always records. The building's abandoned. Yet in every movie when there's an abandoned building, the records are always there. Does nobody take them with them? Is that just a thing in the world that when you leave a hospital or a mental asylum, all the paperwork just stays behind? Every film seems to do it. And very lastly, and this is where the film, it really just took that leap. So that opening to the movie sets up quite a supernatural or quite a otherworldly presence, with Gabriel linking in with the electronics and kind of fucking with them and killing people. But then they try and root it in science, and the movie, I don't feel, strikes that balance between science and supernatural for like most of it. So much so, and I'll give you an example. Once the film wraps up, Gabriel somehow, and I don't know how he learned all the abilities, it's never explained how he can somehow do all the fighting he can do and is amazing at doing so whilst moving backwards. If he's been asleep for 27 years, he just can do it. It makes no sense. He throws a chair across a fucking room at some point and just nails someone in the back, throwing it backwards. It really took me out of the movie. Madison's sister's trapped, and Madison is able to lift this like really heavy hospital bed off of her, because as she puts it, Gabriel is part of her body, so the strength's been hers all along. Has she always also been able to do like backwards ninjutsu and just never realised it? She's never had like really good reflexes or super strength until this moment. Like, surely Gabriel didn't need to be awake for her to have the strength to do it, because that's not how it works. So that's what I mean. They've kind of rooted it in like it's her body, so if she can do it, that takes away from the supernatural, and the movie keeps kind of flowing between these two for whatever fits that moment or that scene. I know I'm reading way too much into this for what Malignant is, but that really just took me out it. And like, that's it for my questions. If you have answers to any of them, let me know. I don't expect you to though, but that's just kind of where I'm at in this movie. So look, really to summarise this one, it's a crime thriller. You're following Madison investigate who's killing people and giving her visions of them. It's also about family a little bit. Now they do kind of ham-fist this right at the end, like almost the last line of the movie is about how they don't need to be blood sisters to be sisters. We got that through all of the dialogue up to that point, because it was really strong and really good dialogue. We don't need that final line thrown in there just to really hammer home the message that we clearly all understood. It's got some good acting, it's got some amazing visuals in this, I will say that. It is gorgeous to look at, this movie. You do need to switch off for it, because if you try and pick it apart or just really understand all the questions, if you watch the questions I had, those kind of ones, it will take you out of the movie. But just brace yourself for a leap, that's all I'm saying. Where would I be putting this? If you have nothing else to watch, put it on. It's fine to have on. Keep yourself invested a little bit, because if you're watching it and not kind of watching it, you know, you're on your phone and the movie flips into that third act without you realising really what's happened, you're going to be very lost in it. That was some of my thoughts on Malignant. Have you seen it? Do we agree or disagree? Let me know down below. And I'm going to have so much more coming out, looking for those hidden gems, trying to find really good movies to recommend to you and find ones to cover. So please do subscribe, that would be amazing. Thank you so much for watching.